All right. Continuing on my little rant from the other day in terms of Himiko Nova, how I genuinely do think that she is going to be a massive problem. We also need to talk about the other freaking problem and the elephant in the room, that being Theorycrafters using E4 Welt. Look, I get it that he is a standard banner character. I understand that. And you know, I get the fact that might be a little mad and upset, right, that I don't have him E4, considering I've played since Kafka's initial release. So I mean, that should kind of say a lot as it is. Granted, yeah, there's multiple opportunities to get him, right? You can have him selected on the 50-50 lost pool. You can also just get him with the golden companion. But we're gonna look at some community comments and points people have brought up that, look, we need to stop this with theory crafting. We need to just put characters in terms of actually being obtainable, in the sense that, hey, if I pull, I get the main character and I get their lycone, boom, we're good to go. But we're gonna first look at and understand why people are using E4 Welt, and we want to make sure we have a full encompassing view on him, so we have that full understanding. And it starts here with the ultimate, is that you are able to inflict upon them the waitlist state, not whitelist, waitlist state up here, and all enemies who have it are just going to be, you know, action delayed, you know, right? That's great. Being able to slow the enemy down, that's fantastic. But the real component in it comes from the talent, is that whenever they are in the waitlist state, they're gonna have their defense reduced by 40% and speed reduced by 5%. But that's not necessarily important, given the fact that the biggest thing here is the defense reduction by 40%. And then we can see here that the trace is that when an allied target attacks an enemy under the waitlist state, their damage dealt increases by 10%. This effect can stack up to 10 times and lasts up for 2 turns. So very good, very strong ability. We're looking at about, I don't know, depending on how you want to calculate that, you could be looking at like a ton of damage increased, right? And so the reasoning why people are talking about E4 is that enemies inflicted with the waitlist state also have their all type res pen reduced by 30%. So that just means more overall damage inflicted upon the enemy for everybody, not just for Welt, which that is essentially what his E1 does. And obviously, you know, I did go over this before, and we can see here, let's go ahead and look at least the top 10 and just count how many have an E4 Welt in here. So we can see 1, 2, 3. The top 3 have an E4 Welt. Okay, number 5, E4 Welt. Number 6, E4 Welt. Number 7, E4 Welt. Number 8, E4 Welt. Number 9, E4 Welt. And number 10, oh, we don't have a Welt. So that's what, 1 and 2. Did I miss one? No. So 2 teams out of the top 10 do not have an E4 Welt. And even though that they have the E4 Welt, let's count how many have a signature light cone that is limited. So Cypher's light cone is limited. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. So half of them. Okay, so not really that real attainable. Light cone, yes, it is. Obviously, when her rerun eventually does come back around, that being Cypher, you can get the light cone, right? But the E4 Welt, dude, you have to freaking spend a ton of money just to lose 50-50s. Hope you lose 50-50s and hope you lose to him, or spend all your golden companions on him, which, you know, it's becoming a real luxury item nowadays. But let's go ahead and look at what people have to say when it comes to that. Very first one, I swear, zero cost E4 Welt clear are a campaign by Hoyo themselves to make their game more free to play friendly. Yeah, this is a snide remark, and that this isn't really feasible or viable because of the fact that, like I said, you have to lose those 50-50s and get lucky just to get him. Very next one, everyone knows E4 Welt is a scam, but what also bugs me is the use of limited light cones on free characters. Yeah, that's technically, that's not even making them a zero cost unit, let alone the fact that you have to lose those 50-50s to get that zero cost unit, which is ridiculous. I'm not even gonna pull Cyrene Sig, but to put it on RMC, okay, so there's that, and then or Cypher Sig and then put it on Welt. It'd much be more realistic to just give those two costs to a DPS on the team, but because they're set on a, okay, he goes on further about that. I saw something else down here about the Welt right here. This E4 Welt curse is making me crash out. I swear devs intentionally made his E4 Welt broken while rest of his Eidolons mid. Why the F is he in every team? It baffles me every time. And then someone else said he's almost unplayable without the E2 at least. E4 makes him competitive with other meta supports. Welt has good Eidolons until E4. Okay, so he's talking about like the interjection that the other Eidolons are not that great. And then I saw something else down here about Mr. Welt, and I thought it was kind of funny. Right here, I don't have him. You're talking about E4 Welt. It's hard to quantify. You can get to E4 through the shop on one hand, but on the other, if it is 4 copies you need, but then most people have him at E1 or whatever. It's getting ridiculous with these, like I said, with these theory crafting teams. Like I said, the top 10 teams, good damage dealing teams, 8 of them have an E4 Welt, and out of those 8 from the top 10, 5 of them have him on a signature light cone. So it's stupid. Make it more accessible and more feasible. Because of the fact that most players are not going to be having him at E4. Yes, you have your anomalies, right? You're going to have players who, for whatever reason, out of like sheer stupid luck now, before it was sheer stupid just like a curse to constantly lose 50-50s to Welt, they probably have him E4, E6. But with the current state of the 50-50 loss pool, it is getting increasingly difficult to get Welt. I just don't think it's very viable or understandable to continuously have these damage calculations with an E4 Welt. On top of that, having him on the limited light cone. Like, you should just take Welt out and put somebody else in on all of these teams so it could be a little more realistic. I'm not saying have like an E6 character, right? You can continuously have these summonable characters with their signature light cones. That's fine. Players will pay to get them. They'll lose a 50-50 and then they're guaranteed to get said character or light cone, or just get it straight off rip 50-50 luck, right? But this hypocrisy and this agenda that I'm noticing more and more, and it really started like getting to me when I was initially talking about Himiko's damage calculations the first go around, upon her initial release, and in seeing all the calculations and everything. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, this is just baffling. Get E4 Welt out, compose a different team composition that's more attainable for most and vast majority of players. Yeah, you're gonna have the anomalies and outliers. Like I said, you're gonna have people who you know, lost 50-50s and got Welt, you know, by some crazy miracle, which, I mean, honestly, still, that's kind of a weird curse, truthfully. Or you're gonna have the players who just spent a ton of money to get more golden companions and be able to get him now with the Nova Flame buffs, right? It's crazy to me. I don't think it should be continuing. I think we are setting a bad precedence moving forward, because they are going to be seeing this. The Hoyoverse devs, this is all wrapping back around, I swear. The Hoyoverse devs are going to be seeing this like, hey, you know, what if we buff older characters more so than Welt, and, you know, people want to spend more money because now they don't care if they lose that 50-50 to this specific character. Granted, it's still a toss-up chance, quite frankly, because you have like, what, 6 characters you can lose your 50-50 to, but you know, hey, I have that chance to get Welt, I'm gonna go for it. Increasingly like trying to bribe them to get more characters and spend more money, I think is a very, very poor trajectory that they would be going. And I definitely think that having all of this, these damage numbers and everything, is just not good, and we should not be having E4 Welt on these teams. And even for people like who are testing and doing damage caps and other content creators, like, don't do this. It sets a bad precedence for other players in the community, because now guess what, you are going to fall further and further and further behind because you don't have the resources and or money to be able to invest into your account or characters to be able to get up to par. Like, oh, I want to reach those big shiny flashy numbers, but I can't because I don't have the opportunity to. That's just my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.